Can the Los Angeles Kings do what the Boston Bruins did, or sorry, the Philadelphia Flyers did earlier? And I knew I was going to mess that up if I tried a different intro. Uh, in 2010, in this historic year, they became the first team since the 75 Islanders to come back from being down 3-0 in a series. And that's where the Los Angeles Kings find themselves in this one, down 3-0 in the series. All of the games have been close. The first one went to overtime, double overtime actually, and that's the first time playing five dice hockey here by Martin K. That's the first time that I've had a game go to double overtime. So Vancouver took game one in double overtime. They took game two in overtime, a few minutes into the first overtime period of sudden death. And game three was a one-goal game. And in all of the games too, Vancouver sort of, I think anyway, in all three of them, they took over late in the game. It was a back and forth game prior to that. And so they just, again, on one hand, it has been a close series. They were all one goal verdicts, and two of the three games went to overtime. But on the other hand, if you're Los Angeles, you find yourself down 3-0. It doesn't really feel like a close series at all at this point. Now, one other time that I have had a series that the verdict was 3-0 going into it, that series ended up going to game seven. So we'll see. Remains to be seen what we will have here. The matchups are pretty close, at least in Los Angeles here for game four. This is game four of the series. But should the Kings manage to win this one and find their way to game five, they're at an even more decided disadvantage when they're playing in Vancouver for game five. So anyway, let's get this one underway. We're going to take 4 minutes off the clock here, so off to, I guess, a fast start, we could say. But nothing in terms of goal scoring or significant chances up to minute 7 now. So fast-moving first period where we get another 4 minutes, and no exception to that. Okay, so here 13. And by the way, most of the time, even though 5 dice drop, I really just look at this one to mark time, and then I look at this one to see if it's a 1, a 2, or a 6. And if this one isn't a 1, 2, or a 6, I just pick them all up and keep rolling. Okay, so 15 here, 15, and now see that is a 2, so I will have a closer look because I have a 2, 1, 6, and I have a 4, so that means, and I'm using the yellow representative of their older jerseys, that means the Los Angeles has taken a 1-0 lead here. So let's see here. So we have a couple more minutes off the clock and nothing else. And we're going to get to the end of the first period, but we're going to have a turnover here with a 6-3-2. And the 5 means that Vancouver will have a chance here, and the 2 means, the white 2 means we will not advance time. So here in the final minute of the period with a 2:56, so a little off the mark. And we're going to take 2 off the clock here for the second period. And we have another turnover, though, a 6:65, one away from a rare play. This one I will advance time. The 5 tells me I bounce it back to Vancouver, 1-3, 4-6. So advancing time on this follow-up chance here, which they don't do anything on anyway, and the blue one means that no minutes advance or elapse either. So 2 more coming off the clock and nothing there. Still 1-0 game here early in the second period. It's going to be a 6-11, though. That will be another turnover. And with the 1, it means it's going to be turned over Los Angeles' way. And also, we don't advance time in this one, but we also don't get anything happening there. So we're going to stay in the same minute there with that blue 1. Had a lot of blue ones in the second period of another game yesterday, one of the Phoenix-Boston games. Anyway, 2:25, so nothing doing there, not quite. 2 more off the clock now. We're almost halfway through regulation. And nothing. And a lot of 1s there, however. I should take a closer look at this. 165, and with the 1s, the Canucks have tied the game here. Just short of being halfway through, we have a 1-1 hockey game. And again, the Kings facing elimination, where we're going to take 4 more off the clock now, up to 13, and nothing here. Let's see. So 17, and with the 241, so we're going to miss out. And again, this is how they're counted. So I have 2. I don't have the same size black die with the pips, so I use this one or the dots, a 241, and so it's above the range of both teams there. Anyway, we're going to take another 2 off the clock here. And we have a 166, so a 166, which is in the range of both teams. So here, just over a minute to go in the second period, and Los Angeles taking the 2-1 lead. Okay, another minute coming off the clock now with nothing. And we're going to stay in the same minute. Okay, here we in the final minutes. We're going to have 2 goals here within a couple of minutes because that 115 And the 5, so Los Angeles now taking a, dare I hesitate to say, commanding a 2-goal lead where goals have been kind of hard to come by so far in this game. That's another thing about this series, though. I've had games, at least a game or two, where 2 periods will go by. There will be almost no scoring, like 1 or 2 goals, and then have like 4 or 5 within a period or more. So that's just the kind of series that it's been. So with that said, let's see if we get that again here. Of course, if I'm playing offline, I'm using a click die roller and things a little bit differently. Anyway, 4 minutes here, so we're into 4 minutes in period 3 and nothing. We're going to stay in the same minute, but we still don't have anything in the way of scoring. Another 4 coming off the clock now. So up to minute 7 with that green 3. I'm just going to keep going here. And 2 more off the clock now. So with the 6, we get a turnover here, 6:62. And it's going to go back Vancouver's way. We don't advance time in this one. And 2:56, so just a little out of their range. Okay, 4 more off the clock now. This favors Los Angeles. Time moving quickly here in period 3. 2 more off the clock and another turnover. So with 5 minutes to go here, to be turned back over Vancouver's way. The 6:42, no more time passes. Vancouver likes that as well, but they don't like the fact that they don't get anywhere close on any ensuing opportunities. 4 more now, so we have a minute to go in the game. I'm going to have to start rolling blue 1s for Vancouver's sake. Let's see if the Kings can get out of regulation. There you have it. So the Kings managed to stay alive in this series now. In case you're joining, if you come in to check this out, but don't really have the time to see it all, and so you kind of click midway through, which is completely fine and understandable. I'm going to change the series there. I mean, I guess I could erase it, but what the heck, we'll just do this here. So Canucks now lead 3-1 in the series. So we'll go back to Vancouver for game 5. And for this one, I'm using the bottom 2 set of numbers here, 164 for Los Angeles to get a goal and 222 for the Canucks to get one. So, okay, so Los Angeles manages to avoid the sweep. Let's see here, we're a minute now into game 5. Without anything going on, and 3 more off the clock now, more of the same. Oh dear. Okay, that one did go through the 5-hole to the floor. All right, first ice fumble in this video. Anyway, so 2 more off the clock. Wait, I was at 4, I think, so that would go up to 6. And still nothing here in the opening 6 minutes, 10% of the way through regulation. 3 more coming off the clock, and 2:43, so not quite. All right, LA needs 164. It's going to stay in the same minute, but without anything happening in it. Another minute here off the clock, though, and same thing. The green 3 tells me I need look no further. 3 more off the clock. Now we're up to 13, where the green 5 tells me what the green 3 did. So another minute here, and again, another green 5. Another minute there with that blue die roll of a 2. We have a first turnover in this game, 6:26. With the white die ending in 6, it does mean that it's been a breakaway. 3 would indicate Los Angeles had it initially. And I am the idiot who didn't change the score back to 0-0. Sorry about that. That could quite potentially and understandably have been confusing. No, we're not starting a game. Goals don't roll over into the next game in a series. I do play series like that sometimes, total goals series, but this is not one of them. One of those. All playoffs simply means that it was, I took the top 16 teams and matched them 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, 3 versus 14, 4 versus 13, and on down to 8 versus 9 in the opening round. And I'm seeding them highest versus lowest and second highest versus second lowest and so on in each ensuing round. Anyway, here, I hope I was, so the turnover, whatever, is going to be a breakaway goal there for Vancouver. So let me actually get the colors correct as well. I think green is representative enough of Vancouver. And I could have gone blue as well. But anyway, it's a 1-0 game here for the Canucks. 5 minutes to go in the opening frame, where we're going to take 3 more off the clock now. The green forces, we just keep on rolling, stop looking, start rolling. So another minute here. We have another turnover and another breakaway goal. So Los Angeles giving up breakaways here in game 5, and it's cost them to the tune of 2 thus far, and almost dropped a card through the 5-hole as well there. Anyway, so it's 2-0 here, Los Angeles, with a minute to go here in the first period. We're going to stay in the first period, but with nothing going on, nothing happening there. So 2 more minutes here. We're 1 minute into the second period now, where we have a 2-on-4, and the 2, that would have been a goal for Vancouver, but that is not a goal for Los Angeles, that roll of a 2-on-4. So it's a narrow miss for LA, and away we go here. 3 more off the clock now, and the green 3 says Look no further. This one we will, though. So we're up to minute 8. And again, I like to delay the suspense and not look there, but I just did, and I see that Los Angeles should double check, though. 161. It barely went through Luongo and over the line. So 2-1 hockey game here, 8 minutes into period 2. And 2 more off the clock here. We're up to 10. We have another turnover here, 6:33. So we're not going to advance time. 1 means it's going to bounce back to the Canucks. And I did already say don't advance time. Okay, so for myself, if no one else. So another minute here off the clock now, and nothing there. 2 more here, and it's up to 13. Same thing, though. Nothing going on here. Mid-game, mid-frame. Another minute here, and 2:45, so close but not quite. So another 3 here. We're up to minute 17 here. We have a 2:62. Same thing. Not going to be quite in either team's range. So 2 more off the clock now. Just over a minute to go here in the second frame, and nothing happening there. We stay in the same minute. A lot of play stoppages here late in the second period. That's how I just interpret it or see it as being. Anyway, so that is, well, yeah, we're in a minute 20. The 20th and final minute. And we're going to take 4. So here, 4 minutes into period 3, we have another goal, I believe. 154, that's a goal for one team or the other. That's Los Angeles tying the game. Keep in mind that 2 of, I guess, the first 4 games did go to sudden death overtime or sudden victory overtime. So we'll see what we get here. So up to 6 now and 2:25, and there'd be nothing going on there. So 4 more minutes here. So now we're up to minute 10, and same thing, nada. So we will have one here, though. 4 more minutes elapsed, and look at that. It is Los Angeles taking a 3-2 lead. The Kings taking a 3-2 lead. Maybe a few on the road made the trip up north in attendance sporadically throughout the Mausoleum in Vancouver, the Rogers Mausoleum. What was it in 2010? I know that's one of its nicknames. Anyway, yeah. So we're up to 3-2 LA. Pay attention. Okay. I say that to myself, for myself. 2 more minutes off the clock here, so we have 4 to go here. And this is the third period as well. That's important to keep in mind. Oh, but look at this, 132, and that's a 5. So for all the talk of Los Angeles, Vancouver has shut me up right away. And looks like we could, once again, be headed somewhere. You know where. Anyway, it's 6:13 there. That's going to be a turnover. No time elapsed. And that goes back Los Angeles' way. So another critical opportunity here for the Kings in 2:63, where they need a 164. Okay, we're going to stay in the same minute, though, with a 141 and a 5. That could be a heartbreaking dagger of a goal there. The Sedin twins and Alexander Burrows, perhaps, combining on one there. 4-3 game all of a sudden. This is in LA was up what? They were up, they took a 3. They were up 3-2 anyway. Anyway, it's 4-3 now, so could have to pull the goalie here. Again, LA backs the wall facing elimination. Not with 4 to go. I will allow the blue die to drop one more time. So, okay, so 2 more off the clock now, and we have a 2:21 and a 5. So Vancouver adding insurance. Really, that must have been a deflating go-ahead 4-3 goal. And they've really taken advantage of a vulnerable and discouraged Los Angeles Kings team that probably gave it their all and then some just to get to this point in the series and avoid being swept. And now they're down by a pair. And of course, now I think to hit the focus on the camera. I'm not even really sure if that makes much difference. And I don't know if this will make a difference. However, I am going to, again, this is sudden death elimination, so I'm going to overlook what it does say in the instructions for the record about being down only by 1 goal, in which case you can pull the goalie. I'm going to permit myself a house rule for elimination here in a playoff series, best of 7. And so LA needs a 66, which did happen once already in this playoffs. I guess it's far gone enough now that I will say Detroit ended up getting this. They were down by a goal. They got this, scored 2, and ended up eliminating Nashville that way. They were ahead in the series, mind you, at that point as well. Pretty sure they were. Anyway, like comfortably enough ahead. So I'm just going to take and I also, too, I will allow, if this is a 1, I'll allow multiple rolls here, the 11 to 66. That's another little house rule that I do. Anyway, enough said. Okay, so the 16, it says the winning team scores, and the 3 here says we take 2 more minutes off anyway, third period ends. I guess I could re-roll to see if I can get a 1 and then like a 66, but Vancouver is now up 6-3, so unless I get like multiple ones and multiple 66s, no, so it's over. I mean, 62, technically the losing team does score, but you also have to elapse 2 minutes, so I'm going to say that time ran out there. And 6-3, so the Kings, I mean, they avoided being swept, and like all the games, even this one right up until the final 6 minutes or so, 5 or 6 minutes thereabouts, or 4 or 5 minutes, was a competitive game. They've all been very close, very razor thin margin games. It's interesting that with a game like this, and again, this game is five dice hockey. Here's the rare event chart, and then also the scoring range chart. This is how I work out the numbers, these 3-digit numbers up here prior to the game. It is interesting, as I started to say there, though, about how you look at it, and I saw a comment too. I can't remember if it was on this channel or on Delphi. It doesn't matter, but about it just seems so random. Like, do team strengths really factor into it? Well, I mean, if you look at the seeded teams now remaining in this playoffs, you have the number 1 overall seed Washington, the number 4 overall in Phoenix, now the number 5 overall in Vancouver. And the fourth and final quarterfinal matchup, of which this was the third of four, the fourth one, is between the number 6 overall Detroit and the number 7, or sorry, the number 6 overall New Jersey. Knew I'd do that again. The 6th overall Devils and the 7th overall Detroit Red Wings. And so there you have it. I mean, every team that's remaining in the playoffs now is in the top 7. Not that there weren't a couple of upsets, like in real life. Chicago, the champions in 2010 of all teams, they were upset in the opening round by the Boston Bruins, who did win the Stanley Cup championship just a season later. And then also the other team that was upset in the opening round was San Jose. So there have been some upsets here, but more often than not, the team that, even if they appear only slightly strong on paper, do numerically, they do manage to prevail. And we saw that here. We saw the Kings get the narrow verdict in Game 4 over the Canucks, and then we saw here in Game 5, rather 5. Goodness, I can't count. The Canucks taking over there toward the end of it. So for the most part, it does seem like it works, and I was trying to think in the back of my mind as I was saying that, so I was having trouble there, a bit of a distracted talking, but I've probably played 100 games of this by now. If not, then I'm getting very close to that, or right in and around that. So yeah, I would argue that it just, it really, even if it doesn't necessarily look like it should, maybe it looks like it should be totally random, and maybe it looks like there's not enough difference or whatever, but thus far, the results, I think, speak for themselves. I think it's worked out quite well. And you have, again, the 3 teams now that have advanced to the semifinal. Might as well spoil it already. Because I don't know, I just wanted to. So you have Washington, Phoenix, and Vancouver. And then the fourth team in the semifinals will be either New Jersey or Detroit. So you're going to have 4 contenders in the final 4. Anyway, with that said, anytime, any consideration that you give to anything like this, again, this is Five Dice Hockey here by Martin K. I know I've been playing a lot of it on the channel lately, but I think it's been for a purpose, for a reason here. These 2010 Stanley Cup playoffs, I just like to come on and show the elimination games. I play them offline right up until a team wins 3 games, and then I come on and do the elimination portion of the best of 7. So anyways, anytime, any consideration you give to this, it's never expected, but it is always appreciated. And happy holidays, everybody. Stay safe, warm, and happy and healthy. Bye for now.